let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me...
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Vengeful Torture. You can call me VT, and today I want to give you just a little bit of my first impressions of the Uncharted 4 beta. I played a little bit over the weekend. I was gone most of the weekend, but I played a little bit before, as soon as it kicked off, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about my experience. It's very similar to Uncharted 3, so I got to pull a lot of my experience from that game before, because I played a lot of that multiplayer in the past, to this one, and sort of compare it and see how it's developed and how it's grown a little bit, which was kind of nice and kind of exciting for me. So right off the bat, let's look at the graphics, right? Like, it was very gorgeous. As soon as you boot it up, you agree with a beautiful loading screen, and then of course right into your character selection, your character development sort of area. All the facial details there, all the clothing, everything just looks super natural, like really realistic. Their body movements were very fluid and it felt very real, like I was a part of it. And then when you zoom in on every part of the characters' faces and everything, and their bodies and whatnot with your equipping, it looks so much better than it ever has in the past. They really did a phenomenal job with the graphics, and that's continuous throughout the entire beta, the multiplayer beta, right? Every time you go online, any of the matches, you see any other characters in the game that you're not playing, at the distance, you still see a lot of that detail still holds, and a lot of the fluidity and a lot of the physics are true to it, and that really stay with you. You can see the physics in action, which is really nice. A lot of the environments look absolutely stunning. This isn't new, right? This is something we've expected from Naughty Dog. With Uncharted games before, they've always sort of been a benchmark. So really, all I have to say for first impressions is you're not going to be disappointed with the graphics. The sound's the exact same way. All of, the whole score is you get all the lows, all the deep basses with the explosions and everything, and all the highs. The voice acting in the game is fantastic in the multiplayer. Yes, they're generic, sayings and stuff, but it doesn't matter. Like, they still sound really good saying them. And when you're in the world and you're playing, you can hear where everything's coming from. Everything really makes sense. It sort of fits together. There's a little bit of environment noise in there, so it's never really quiet, but it's just quiet enough where it's tense enough. So the sounds are great. You can really pinpoint where someone's firing from and everything, even though the radar does that for you. So again, that's something we've come to know with Uncharted. They really set the benchmark for the graphics and sound, and it's fantastic. But let's get a little more into what the gameplay feels like, right? So they basically took the same exact system from Uncharted 3 and just sort of upped a little bit, added a few things, didn't really remove a whole lot, but just sort of tweaked a few things and made it better, in my opinion. So the gunplay, the main part of it, obviously feels fantastic, right? Once you get used to the cover system, it feels pretty good. It felt a little robotic, to be honest, and that may be a little bit of a change from Uncharted 3. I don't exactly remember if it felt that robotic. I kind of got used to it, I think, but it felt a little chunky. That could use a little work. And one of the biggest issues with the gameplay, the gunplay in this with the cover system, is that a lot of the times in the beta I found my character wouldn't convert to different covers. So if they were standing behind a wall and I kind of moved over to go next to like a porch or like a little half patio thing, half wall if you will, they didn't move right from standing to crouching right away. So they would actually take like 2 or 3 character models to like crouch down, and that wasn't all the time. That was some of the times, right? So I would say at least 30-40% of the time they wouldn't really convert covers how you're supposed to actually stay in cover. So your character would be completely exposed, and that's sort of an issue. And by sort of, I mean it's a pretty big issue. But I'm hoping in the beta, that was just an issue with that, and they can start to see some of those things. If you watch some of my gameplay videos, and I'm going to throw up another one behind here, you'll just see that as well. You might pick it out there. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but when you're looking for it, you'll find it, absolutely. The maps were really good. There was 3 different maps in the beta, played all of them at least twice. Again, I didn't get a lot of time to play. I'm playing more tonight, that's for sure. Just get familiar with it again, because you're not going to see it for at least what is it, a month now. But the maps felt great for the number size of players, absolutely. There's plenty of cover, and what I really liked is there's a lot of tactical lanes, so you could flank a lot. You could really use that to your advantage. Of course, this is a big platforming game, and it's you really need to utilize that to get the upper hand on your enemies sometimes. And one of the biggest changes they made, or additions, not really changes, the biggest addition they made was the grappling hook, right? So, and I really like the multifunctionality with this. The grappling hook primarily is used for getting around the levels, right? Really, getting the upper hand on people, getting the high ground, covering a lot of ground in a short amount of time and really roping around, using those tactical lanes, right? And it works really well. It really does. The grappling hook is fantastic. It's not too obtrusive in the menu, and it pops up on your HUD. And once you learn the maps, you learn where they're at, and you can use them really easily. It's absolute love, that addition to the game. It really feels good. And of course you're exposed, so you gotta decide when you want to use it or not. Really like that. The other cool thing is you can charge up a melee attack with holding L1 and then hitting square with someone, and it uses the grappling hook. I thought that was just sort of a clever little touch. I mean, you could have had it charge up with any other way, right? Big old haymaker. But no, they decided to use the grappling hook and really, take people out with that thing. And I thought that was really neat. One of the other additions they did was they added a sidekick system. So in-game you have this purchasable screen, and you always have like the important weapon, and you have upgrades to a few things. But the sidekicks is something that's very clever, something that's very new, we haven't really seen before. So you pull in one of 4 different sidekicks at a time, which is an assisted AI to you. So there's a medic, a sniper, a brute, and a big soldier, I guess you could call him. So the medic obviously will redistribute health and ammo to your entire team. The sniper will lock down a position, does a lot of damage. The brute will run and rush people and hold them, so you put them in a chokehold so you can take them out. And then the big soldier will just stomp around and slow as hell, but do a massive amount of damage. And it was really cool because at first I didn't really like it. I wasn't sure what to think about. I was like, adding more people to the map, like that's not really cool. Like that's going to get a little chaotic, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it really isn't that bad at all, to be honest with you. Because most of the sidekicks' health, with the exception of the soldier, it's not very high. You can take them out pretty easily like you would another person, right? They have the same amount of health. And the other thing is that they almost always appear on radar. So at least what I found. Maybe that was just because something was going on. But they always appeared on radar, so you could always tell really where they were at and how to avoid them or something. And they were a nice little tactical way to use them, to lock down an area and then run around and do a flank or something to distract the enemy. So it's added another point of strategy to the game, which I thought really developed the gameplay a little bit more, and I really enjoyed. The other addition they added to the purchasable menu is the mystics, a use of mystics, which is sort of like superhuman abilities and like magic and stuff. And to be honest, that was okay. It just sort of seemed like a Hail Mary, throw out there, like what else can we do to make this exciting? And it works. It's not... It's balanced a little bit, I guess, because, again, with all these purchasables, every time you buy them, the price goes up, right? So, an average player is going to be able to buy, have to focus on mystical or sidekicks to really buy more than one a match, or really more than 2 a match, because the price goes up quite a bit if you're really being kind of conservative with your money and buying upgrades too, and that better gun that you want. So it kind of balances that out a little bit right there in itself. And each one of them has a weakness, of course, to mystics. Your way around it, not necessarily a weakness, but one of them is this superhuman ability that makes you really quick. Well, I found a lot of people that use that against me. I didn't have it unlocked yet. They'd try and get really close to me and melee me or get from behind me and take them out, but they're so easy to see and they're so quick that it takes some getting used to for them, where they don't even really know where they're going to end up. And yes, practice will make perfect on that and you'll get used to it, but it just felt like overall everything they added was a pretty good job at balancing everything, right? It didn't feel forced really at all, and it felt like it was pretty good. So definitely don't get scared of the new additions they make to the game. Honestly, just from playing with a little bit, you get used to it, and it's fine. It's the little additions that really make the game a lot better and a lot more interesting, if you will, and definitely more strategic. So, really had a great time with it. The beta was a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't get to a lot of time to play it, so I didn't unlock a lot of things. But that is another thing that I liked about it, is that unlocks were frequent enough where you felt like you're making progress, but they weren't so frequent if you played, moderate amount of time, like for the average gamer, that you were just going to run out of things to unlock, right? Because there's a lot of cosmetic items to unlock that you kind of purchase with, money that you get in certain other currencies. There's a few currencies in there that are a little interesting that I don't know if we need that many currencies going on at once. But it seems like I was able to get enough of everything, and they kind of hand some out to you. And with daily challenges that they offer, you get some currencies then. So it's it's a good way of limiting our progression, which isn't always a good thing. It isn't always a bad thing. But in this sense, it seems to work pretty well. As far as unlocking different things for your loadout, you unlock things sort of in categories. So at certain levels, you unlock a bundle of different things, which works really well. So you get a lot of options, so it kind of holds you over. You're not like waiting for that specific level to unlock that one gun. Now you get a few things thrown at you, and then you can kind of play with them and make different loadouts. So you kind of get a feel for everything. Once you're really comfortable, then they throw another thing at you once you level up again. So it worked pretty well. Honestly, I cannot wait for the game. I'm going to pick it up regardless. It's Uncharted 4. I loved the first 3. The stories were fantastic. The multiplayer has been improving every single time, and really I think we're going to see what the best they have to offer here. So that was my first impression, guys. Sorry it ran a little long. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the beta if you played it in the comments below, and take it easy, guys.